Hello. In this video, we are going to be creating the jeans exercise. And in this exercise, you're going to learn how to do a clipping mask with a photo of denim fabric. And you're going to learn how to create some faded areas and distressing areas on the jeans. You'll also get a chance to create your own logo for the back pocket. Okay, so let's go ahead and start by doing File, Save As. And we're going to save this with your last name, first initial, and we're going to call it Jeans Style Sheet. Okay. All right, so at the top now, the tab should say your last name, first initial, Jeans Style Sheet. Okay. All right, so I want you to notice the organization of the layers. So in the first layer, we have denim. The second layer is shape. Then we have details and distressing. So let's take a look at what those are. So if I look at the denim, you can see I have a photo of denim fabric and a copy of it. And we're going to be needing this later as well. So before we go any further, I'm going to have you create a duplicate of this. So make sure you're on the denim layer, go up to Show Options, and choose Duplicate Denim. Okay. All right, so we have our denim. Then above that, I have the shape layer, and you can see it's the outline of the shape of the pants, front and back, and then the outline of the shape of the pocket. On the details layer, we have all of the things like our stitching, our seams, our pockets, our belt loops, our button, and our logo. Okay, so then the layer above that is empty right now because we haven't started working with it. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to make sure that you lock up all your layers except your shape layer and your denim layer. Okay, I'm also going to ask you to disappear one of the denim layers for now. Okay, all right, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this denim into our jeans, okay? And one of the best ways to do it is by doing a clipping mask, okay? And so basically what it'll do, because the shape of the jeans is on top, it'll tell the computer that we want the denim only to show in the shape of the jeans, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to use our selection tool, shortcut V. We're going to select our fabric, and then we're going to select the shape of the pants. Now I'm going to show you 3 ways in which you can make a clipping mask, and make sure to write this down because it could be on a quiz. Okay, so once I have my denim and I have my shape, I can right-click, make clipping mask, and then I'm going to go ahead and do this other one as well, and I'm going to select the shape and the denim. And I'm going to show you a second way to make a clipping mask. You can go to Object, Clipping Mask, Make. You can also do Control 7. So there you have 3 ways in which you can do a clipping mask, okay? So Control 7 if you like shortcuts. You can right-click, make clipping mask, or you can go to Object, Clipping Mask, Make, okay? All right, now what happens oftentimes is when we make the clipping mask, the stroke on the pants goes away. Okay, and you can see that is the case here as well. So I'm going to select the front pants and I'm going to select the back pants. I'm using Shift to add to selection. And in the stroke panel, I'm going to give it a stroke weight of 2, and it should be black. Also, make sure you give it a round join and a round cap because it'll make the edges and corners look a little bit better. Okay, so we did the clipping mask and we adjusted the stroke. Now let's go ahead and hit Control S. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start working on doing our distressing. So we want to be on the distressing layer. So let's go ahead and open the layers and let's go ahead and lock the denim. Let's go ahead and lock the shape layer. The other denim should not be showing. It's there, but it should not be showing. So let's go up to the distressing layer and let's unlock that layer. So you should be on the distressing layer, the eyeball should be showing, and there should be no lock icon. Okay, perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create some areas on the jeans that look like they've been bleached or stonewashed or whatever the method was used to create lighter areas. Okay, some kind of abrasion maybe. Okay, so we're going to use the pencil tool, and The pencil tool can be found nested within the hidden tools underneath the shape tool, okay, or the shaper tool. So go ahead and get the pencil tool, shortcut N, write that down. Okay, so we're going to create a shape on the front of the thigh using the pencil tool. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw with my mouse, doing the best I can to create this shape, which looks like a chicken drumstick right now. It isn't really what I intended, but that's what it looks like. Okay, so we want to put a black fill into this, and we're going to do something in the opacity panel to take away the black color. Okay, now right now you can see it has a black stroke. So let's go ahead and swap the fill and stroke. And we're going to go up into the opacity panel. And if you cannot see the opacity panel in your control panel, then go ahead to the right side and in your panels choose transparency. Okay, so either one will work. Where it says normal, let's go ahead and choose color dodge. Okay, when you do that, you'll notice that your shape turns white. We're going to adjust the transparency on that, or the opacity, down to about 26-27%, okay? And you can see it makes it look a bit more see-through, doesn't it? Okay, now when I deselect, you'll see, though, that the edges look rather harsh, don't they? So what we're going to do is we're going to select that shape, and we're going to go to Effect, Stylize, and we're going to do Feather. Okay, now we're going to hit Preview. And we want to make sure that it's enough that it kind of softly blends into the rest of the jeans. So I'm going to hit my up arrow until I get to about 0.2. Could do 0.3 if you wanted a little bit more of a feather. Okay, so you can look at it and see which one you think. Okay, when you're happy, hit OK. All right, so I do need to adjust that shape. It's pretty not great. So let me show you with the pencil tool what you can do. I'm going to zoom in on this shape so we can see it a little better. So go ahead and select it and then get your pencil tool. And what you want to do when you need to adjust a shape is just start so that you're right on the line, you know, where you want to fix it. And just drag your mouse up to where you want it to go. Okay, so that's probably a little bit better. This seems a little low to me, like it's going down below the knee, so I'm going to shorten that a little bit, maybe fix that shape a little. You just have to blend it in, okay? This seems a little wide to me up here. Oops, that was a boo-boo. Let's try it again. So you want to blend in with the line and then just edit it ever so slightly until you get the look that you want. Let's see how that looks. Okay, I like it better. Still kind of looks like a drumstick, so I'm going to just take a little bit off the side here. Okay, I think that looks a lot better. And maybe I will just make it a little wider there. Okay. The other thing you can do too is you can also drag points. And remember your handles. You can adjust handles if you like. There's a lot of points when you use the pencil tool. So using the handles can be really time consuming. But there is something called the smooth tool. And so if you have too many points, you can actually drag along the edge and try to smooth it a little bit more. And it does remove some of those points, okay? And so then you can get a better shaping if you want to, you know, kind of get rid of some of the points and make it less jaggy, okay? So that's something good to know about the pencil tool, is that you can really kind of adjust your stuff a little bit. Now, we're ready to go ahead and do the other thigh. And if we want to, we can go ahead and draw it. Or how about this? Let's reflect it. So we select it. We get the Reflect tool, shortcut O. Position in the center between the two legs. Hold down Alt. Then click. Vertical, 90. Let's hit Preview. That's what I want. Hit Copy. Okay? Now you can adjust it a little if you feel like you don't want it to be too matchy. Then you can just go ahead and get your pencil tool, and you could adjust the shape a little bit, maybe change it just a hair, maybe a little less there, maybe a little straighter here. Okay, that'll change it just enough that it looks a bit different than the other side. Okay, so we're also going to be doing some shape down here on the butt area and then the back thigh. So let's go ahead and get the pencil tool and let's draw in the shape that we want on the back here. Okay, that was pretty bad. So I probably will redo that because I'm not loving what I just did. So let's try it again. Okay, so that's looking better, I think. Okay. All right, I am just going to eyedrop what I just did. Okay. Now you'll notice that I can eyedrop the color dodge, the feather is not there. Okay. So even though I get the color and I get the opacity, I don't get the feather. So I'll add that in a few minutes. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and draw with my pencil the shape that I want here on the back of my thigh area. Okay, I can eyedrop that. Okay, see if you like that shape. Does it make sense? That's not too bad. I may just adjust this a little bit more. So, pencil tool, shortcut in. Let's see how that looks. Okay, that's not too bad. It might be a little wide on the side here. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to select both and I'm going to go Effect. Now, we don't have to go to Stylize again because the last effect that we just did is up here at the top. And if you're happy with the amount of feather, hit Apply Feather. You don't have to redo it. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Okay, so now I can go ahead and select those and I'll reflect them to the other side. Oh, I think maybe I'll add a shape in the back of the calf also. Almost forgot that. Okay, so let's take a minute here and let's do another one. Maybe about right here. Okay, and I'm going to eyedrop that and I'll do Effect, Apply Feather. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm not really loving that shape right there, so I'm going to get the pencil, and I notice I have a slight overlap here. Okay, let's try again. Seems like no matter what I do, I keep scooping in right there. Let's see what I've got going on over here. Oh, I've got all sorts of lines. Okay, well, I'm going to delete some of it. Okay, I'm going to get the pencil and try to make that a little better. There we go. Okay. Sometimes when you're zoomed out, you can't really see. I'm going to get the smooth tool because I'm not loving this over here. It's got way too many points. That's better. Let's do a little more here. Oh, much better. Okay. And maybe I'll just bring that down a little. I think I'm going to do my smooth tool again a little bit here. Look at all those points. It's like 5 million points all in one spot. Okay, so feeling a lot better about that. Okay, it's a little smoother. All right, so now that I've got that, I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to select all of this and reflect it to the other side. Okay, so O for reflect, position in the center, Alt, click, vertical 90, copy. Okay, so now we have our bleached effect on the back of our jeans. And now I might play with it a little bit more, but I want to introduce you to something. I think we talked about it once before, and it's called the Appearance panel. You can find it under Window, and this is the best place to adjust an effect like feather. So I'm going to double click on feather, and I'm going to just increase the feather a little bit on that and see if I like it. Okay, so I adjusted it to an effect of 3. And I think I like it better. So I'm going to go back in, and as long as these all have the same effect, we should be able to adjust them at the same time. So I'm going to double click, going to hit 0.3, hit OK, and there you go. I do like that. I think that looks a lot better. Okay, it just kind of softened the edge a little bit. It was a little harsh. All right, now that we've done that, leave the appearance panel open because the next thing we're going to need it. Okay, and I know automatically that we're going to need it with this next step. Well, the next step is adding the whiskers to our denim. Okay, so we're going to add it also to the distressing layer. Well, we're already on there, so we're good. But we're going to do it this time with a brush instead of a pencil or anything else. Okay, so we want the brush tool. Our shortcut, if you hover over it, is B. Okay, and as soon as you hit the brush tool, you'll notice that the control panel reflects the options for that brush. Okay, so right now I have a 2-point oval brush. Okay, and we want to do charcoal. So let's go ahead, and I'm just going to drag the panel down so that we can see the options. Okay, there's lots of options in here. Here's our basic. We have chalk scribble, we have floral stem, we have chalk scribble 2, charcoal rough, charcoal feather, and charcoal. Okay, so use either charcoal or charcoal feather. Those are good ones. I'm going to use charcoal feather because I like how it kind of thins. And I'm going to get ready now to do my whisker. Okay, now I'm going to start here and I'm going to click and drag with my brush and go across. But you'll notice that nothing shows, right? Okay, I'm going to get the selection tool and I'm going to hover, and when I'm over the brush, I'm going to click on it. Now the interesting thing is if you look at the stroke, you can see it has a black stroke of 1. So what's the reason it isn't showing? Okay, well it's because the feather that is on the brush is the same amount of feather that was on the shapes. Well, the shapes are much bigger than the brush, and so when we do the feather on the brush, it disappears. So all we have to do is adjust the feather. So I'm going to take it down to about a 0.01 and preview it. And if I like it, I can go ahead and hit OK. And you can see what that looks like. Okay, so we're going to use that brush. Now that we've adjusted the feather, we should have no problem seeing it. So now we're just going to take the mouse and we're going to drag across where we think those wrinkles should be. Okay, now you can look at, garments that you have in your closet and see how did they draw the feathers on your jeans. Believe it or not, these creases or bleached areas are very much planned in advance. Okay, they decide exactly where they want them. It's not random. Okay, I actually have a pair of jeans from a company, and they were their prototypes, and so I wish I could show them to you. If we were in class, I could. They marked on the jeans, like, okay, let's move the whiskers up here, and let's move the abrasions here, and get rid of this abrasion, and kind of depending on how it looked on somebody's body. Okay, so think about where these should be, and if you're not sure where they should be, one thing I do whenever I am drawing garments is I look at examples to see, okay, what should that look like? Okay, and when you do, it gives you a good idea. Okay, I know what to do now. Okay, so if you're not sure, and most of us aren't sure because we don't really think about things like where the creases are on a daily basis. We know they're there, but so take a look at a real garment and it will help you make your decisions about where you put stuff. Now I want you to notice that these whiskers are made up of segments and anchor points, and so if you have an extra anchor point you don't like, get the delete anchor point tool and just get rid of it. See how I did that? And I feel like that's going to be a little bit smoother shape. Okay, so anyways, you can play around with these and get them where you want them. Okay, so think about where the crease of the thigh would be and draw them accordingly. Okay, I'm not loving this shape, so I'm probably going to get rid of that. See if I like that better. Yep, that's better. Okay, so all right, now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and go to the back of the knee area, and you can see that in our instructions that the back of the knee has the whiskers as well. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more so you can see them. Okay, so the back of the knee. All right, so let's get the brush and let's go ahead and draw those in at the back of the knee. Okay, so those are pretty good. I'm probably going to just arrow key that up a little bit. Let's see how that looks. Maybe this one up. Okay, so that's not too bad, right? That tells us where those wrinkles would be on the back of our knee area of our jeans. Okay, all right, now that I've got that, I'm pretty happy with it. I can also go in and adjust the size of the stroke. If you don't like 1 PT, then go to 0.75. So some of them you may want to make smaller if you're not real happy with the size. Okay, and so take a minute and do that. And I want you to take a minute and adjust your areas, where it's worn, with these shapes. If you need to, take a few minutes and adjust those too till you're happy with it. So we're going to, let me go ahead and take this to the style sheet page so you can see what that's going to look like. And let's see, I'm going to make that a little smaller. Okay, so here's the style sheet. You can see our jeans front and back. We've got our distressing and whiskers on there. So we're going to do a type some information onto our button. And so you can see we have something here called a blow up that shows the details of the button. So if you were selling this to a retail buyer, you could show the engraving of the company name on the button. You can describe the size of the button and what it's made of. This one says brass button. You give the information about your jeans. We're going to shrink the jeans down. And then with those extra swatches of the denim, we're going to be creating the swatches showing the different colorways that this comes in. So you can see the first one is our basic that we're working with right now. And then I make a green version and a dark version of it. So I'll be showing you how to do that in the second part of this particular exercise.